Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I am on the floor today to discuss the path forward on my bill, the Women, Veterans, and Families Health Services Act of 2015. This is legislation that would end VA's decade-old ban on fertility services, and it would take critical steps towards ensuring we are doing everything we can to support veterans who have sacrificed so much for our country, have suffered injuries on the battlefield that prevent them from having children on their own. I introduced this legislation because I believe strongly that our commitment to service members doesn't stop at the end of their tour. I believe that commitment doesn't stop at all, ever. And a critical part of this commitment of what our country should do to make sure those who sacrifice so much for us can live the lives they've hoped for in helping seriously wounded veterans start families, so that those who put their lives on hold and on the line have the opportunity to achieve that important goal. Mr. President, caring for our veterans should never be a partisan issue, and helping our wounded warriors start families should rise above the petty political fights we see too often here in Washington, D.C. So I was very proud to work with Republicans on the Veterans Affairs Committee on a bipartisan compromise, one that should have allowed my Veterans Health Care Act to pass through the committee today with strong bipartisan support, as it has in the past. And until yesterday, that was exactly what I thought was going to happen. My bill was on the agenda. It was going to come up for a vote, and I thought it was going to pass. That is why I'm so disappointed and truly angry that Republicans on the Veterans Affairs Committee decided yesterday to leap at the opportunity to pander to their base, to poison the well with the political cable news battle of the day, and turn their backs on these wounded veterans. Just a few Republicans with just a few poison pill amendments have turned our bipartisan effort to help wounded veterans into a partisan effort to attack women's health care. I find that shameful. And that's why, after it became clear that there was not a path to getting those political amendments withdrawn today, I spoke with Chairman Isaacson and I asked him to pull the bill from the markup rather than see it become a vehicle for partisan political attacks. Mr. President, I know some Republicans are trying to use this latest issue as just one more opportunity to roll back the clock and take away women's health care options. We can have that fight. We've had it many times before, but we should not be putting veterans into the middle of it. Don't take something that should be above politics, our sacred duty to our veterans, and pull it down in the muck of petty politics. It is not fair to these veterans. It's not fair to their families who have been hoping and praying for the opportunity to have children. It's not fair to the veterans and service members who don't want to see their health care become just one more political football. And it is certainly not fair to our constituents who send us here expecting us to stand together and support those who've sacrificed so much for all of us. Mr. President, I'm going to keep fighting for them and for this effort. I'm not going to let those who want to put politics ahead of our veterans and service members get their way. And I truly do hope that Republicans reconsider this absolutely shameful approach today and work with us to get this bill done. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.